Well, you mentioned that when you got started, you said, "Okay, I'm going to go be a children's author." You had already decided up front, ironically, since we all know that you're now independently wealthy, that, but you had decided this is not going to be a field of money. I'm not going to make money from this. This is going to be something for my heart. So, how does that change your approach to writing, or does it?
How did that change my approach to writing early on, or how does it change now that I have a book deal?
Well, no, early on when there's no book deal, no reason to think that something as improbable as Aaron and Kelly is going to say, "My God, send me your pages and let me hook you up with my agent, one of the most amazing agents that could possibly be around." For goodness sakes, not only does she represent both these fine women, but Jason Reynolds, I think, is one of her clients, and
Arian Johnson.
Yes, I think Kathy Appel's in there now too, maybe.
At Pippin, I don't think she's Sarah's, but certainly she's a powerhouse agent for sure. Yeah.
You know, the problem, esteemed audience knows this. I talk to so many different literary agents, and I try to memorize everybody's resume. Kind of blurs together a little.
Absolutely.
But when that's so far off out of the realm of possibility that's ever going to happen, and you're accepting that this is just going to be, this is something I do for love, does that impact the way you approach writing? And that if I'm not loving it today, don't worry about it? Or is it, okay, I'm not writing for 3 months because I've stepped away from the project, but during those 3 months, I'm still learning craft, I'm typing somebody else's book. How does that impact your approach?
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say that my goal was never to become a published author or that I knew it would never happen. My goal, I am a very driven person and I'm extremely tenacious, which I think is evidenced by the fact that I kept going for 13 years. So I wrote because it was a labor of love. I knew that it might never happen, but I also knew that I would never give up. So I always figured if I never gave up, someday it might happen. So there was always that goal in mind, but I've always had conversations and I've been very lucky to surround myself by very thoughtful women who help keep me grounded and mindful of the fact that getting a publishing deal doesn't necessarily change anything in the real world. I still have to clean my toilets every day. My life still looks pretty much exactly the same. So we all have this idea of, oh, I will be successful or I will be happy if I can get a publishing deal. And it is true that there's something that happens in your heart when you get a publishing deal, especially after having worked for it for 13 years. But I really tried to hold on to the journey and the fact that I was in a position of privilege where I could do something that I loved so much each and every day. So for me, it wasn't a matter of, I say that I treated it like a career, but it wasn't so much a matter of, oh gosh, I have to go to the office and sit at my desk and work. It was, I love doing this. I get to sit down at my desk. My kids are off at school now. I get this chance to sit and do what I love, to find a combination of words that is just so cool or that perfectly communicates what I want to communicate. So for me, it's never felt like work. It's always been a labor of love. And just as much, I love doing the hard work of analyzing the other books and mentoring other writers and talking about craft. So for me, it's all just joy. And the fact that I have this book deal means a lot to me because it took so long. But again, nothing has really changed in my life. I still try to bring the same joy to my work, and my process has stayed essentially the same.
What if, and this is an absurd question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
What if I could, and why would I do this? But what if I could tell you for certain, this is it. This is the peak. You get this book, you get the next book, and then that's it. You're not publishing anything else. But you can write as much as you want for the rest of your life. Do you still do it?
Yes, absolutely. Part of the reason I do it is because it's such great fun to look back at where I started. When I look back at that original memoir, that agent was absolutely right. I had no idea how to write a story. And when I look at where I am now, I take tremendous satisfaction in that growth. And it's entirely possible that my future books won't sell, but I will continue to improve as a writer. And I can't control the market and I can't control what publishing does, but I can continue to improve on my craft and to write stories that are meaningful to me. And who knows, if traditional publishing didn't work out, there are other avenues. I could consider independent publishing, self-publishing. I don't think there's any one path that anybody has to follow. So I am really, really happy and I feel fortunate for where I am right now, but I also know that my future happiness and success isn't going to be defined by the next book deal.